What's going on, guys? This is Vince with vshred.com, and in today's video I'm going to show you 6 of the stupidest exercises that I see done at the gym and what exercises to do instead of them. Like I said, today's video, I'm gonna be going through a couple of the probably dumbest exercises that I see done, and I'm not necessarily calling the people who have ever done these dumb. I'm just saying that if you are currently doing these, maybe you don't know, but let's switch them out for the exercises that I'm gonna show you to do instead of them so that you can really start getting better results from the effort that you're putting in the gym, because nothing's worse than putting in effort and not really getting that great of results from it because your buddy told you that you should do this certain type of exercise that really isn't that effective. So today we're gonna go through 6 of the most common ones that I've seen. Also, I will say, if you are wanting to know what 3 of the most common mistakes are, if you like mistakes, like figuring out what your mistakes are and how to fix them so that you can get in shape faster, I actually built a free fitness quiz that tells you the 3 biggest mistakes that you're making depending on what your body type is. So if you don't know what your body type is, even better, because the quiz tells you what your body type is, and then the 3 mistakes and 3 best fixes for getting in shape for your body type. So if you want to check that out, I'm going to put a link right below this video down in the description. You can check it out. But getting into this video, the first exercise that we're going to talk about, and I personally have enjoyed doing these just from time to time to see if I can, but they're muscle ups. And if you're not sure what a muscle up is, it's when you're hanging by a pull-up bar and you're creating a little bit of momentum and you're basically flipping your entire body over the bar and then doing kind of like a little tricep extension at the top and then jumping back into it and basically trying to rock out as many as you can. If you're doing a muscle up to see if you can do a muscle up, or you're just seeing how many muscle ups you can do, that's fine. Muscle ups are enjoyable and fun to show your friends from time to time and to have a little competition between your friends who can do more. That's great. But if you're doing muscle ups so that you can build more strength in your back, or whatever you're trying to do, if you're doing it from a standpoint where you're trying to build muscle and you're using this as an exercise in your back day regimen, stop doing it, because this exercise is not going to be working your back muscles like you think, because how your lats are being worked is by taking your elbows from up and out and by pulling them down and in towards your side. That's how you're going to shorten that lat muscle the most. And so instead of going and doing some muscle ups, all I want you to do is regular pull-ups. And if you can do a muscle up, you can probably do a pull-up, because muscle ups are probably harder than pull-ups. So just hang there and just do regular pull-ups and really focus on retracting your scapula, rolling your shoulders back as you do that pull-up, and really focusing on squeezing your elbows into your side. That way you can work your lat more effectively. Mistake number 2, these are going to be related to a very good tricep exercise, but one that I see done wrong pretty much every time I'm at the gym. And these are going to be related to kickbacks. Now, if you know what a kickback is, it's when you are bending over or maybe have your chest on something and you have your elbow back and you are kicking your arm back and extending your elbow so that you can work your tricep. That's great. But the issue and the mistake that I see made all the time, and again, this could be just because you don't know any better, or this person who's doing it hasn't, that's how they were taught. Not your fault, but let's get it fixed. If you are currently doing a kickback where instead of having your elbow up and your upper arm is at least parallel to the ground, if not a little bit farther, you need to fix that, because if you're hanging your elbow down here and you're kind of doing a little bit of a curl first and then you're doing a kickback and your elbow is basically maybe at an angle down towards the ground, you're not going to be working your tricep very much, because you got to understand how you're working your muscles with dumbbells. With dumbbells, you're only working against gravity. Your muscles are working against gravity to lift that weight up. So if your upper arm is down at an angle towards the ground, there's not much gravity that's actually, because the gravity's pulling it straight down. And so if you're down here, you're going to be using your biceps to get it from perpendicular to the ground up, and then to get it from perpendicular to the ground back. That's not much range of motion right there, and it's not much gravity pulling this dumbbell down. Whereas if you bring your elbow all the way up, now is basically right from the beginning, right from that 90-degree angle, you're going to be working your triceps, and up at the top is when it's going to be the most difficult, because now your arm is basically parallel to the ground, making it the dumbbell pull straight down, working your tricep way more effectively. So if you're currently doing kickbacks right, keep doing them right. If you are currently doing kickbacks where your elbow is kind of lagging a little bit and it's a little farther down than it should be, fix that. And my biggest recommendation for this is to drop weight. Whenever I do kickbacks, I don't think I've ever gone heavier than 15 pounds, because if you're doing them right and you're really focusing on that tricep contraction, you're not gonna have to go heavier than 10, 15, maybe even down to 5 pounds, as long as you're doing it right. Mistake number 3, and this one's gonna be related to legs, and also a great leg exercise, but done wrong because of ego. I'm talking about quarter rep leg presses. And you know you've seen it before. If you haven't seen it personally in the gym, you've definitely seen it in videos on Instagram or on YouTube or on Facebook. Basically, guys, or maybe even girls, loading up the leg press with way too many plates that they cannot get full range of motion, because one thing that I preach about on this channel is making sure that you are going throughout the entire range of motion so that you can lengthen the muscle and shorten the muscles as much as possible to overload the muscle and create those micro trauma on your muscle fibers so that they can build bigger and stronger. But if you are loading up the leg press with 15, 20, 25 plates, I've even seen guys basically using bands to keep the extra 45 plates on top of it after they've loaded up the bars completely, and you're only going down about a foot, stop doing that. Drop weight. Please get rid of your ego. Whenever I walk into the gym, I leave my ego at the door. If I'm not feeling strong one day, but I wish I was lifting heavier, I'm not gonna lift heavier, because I wanna get a good, effective workout. And I wanna make sure that I'm doing things the right way, rather than thinking that I'm way stronger and I need to look way stronger in front of everybody else and loading up the leg press with 20 plates and doing these quarter reps that aren't going to do anything for my leg. That's the main emphasis here. If you're doing these 1,000-pound leg presses where you're only going, your range of motion is 6 inches, then you're not gonna be building any leg muscle, and you're gonna be possibly hurting your knees. I've seen some pretty nasty videos where people's knees just basically cave the opposite way where it shouldn't be going, and it's very dangerous. So please, if you're loading up the leg press with too much weight, just drop the weight until you can get it to full range of motion, and then go with full range of motion and build your strength on top of that with good form. Mistake number 4, and this one's gonna be related to possibly the most common exercise that I see guys make, and it's gonna be related to bicep curls. Now, the issue with this is very similar to the leg press one. Guys getting in the gym and their ego is too high, too much ego, and they think that they have to lift super heavy. But also there's that other side of the spectrum where guys don't know any better, and they think that this is how you curl. Well, if you're going to the gym and you're doing half rep curls, and by half rep curls, I mean that you're just doing the top, because I more commonly see guys kind of doing curls like this rather than going like this. I don't see this that much, I really don't. But I do see this all the time, where their elbows are coming back and they're kind of doing like some kind of front shoulder press like this, where their elbows aren't doing much work, but they think they are because they're getting that weight from, this isn't really point A because point A is down here, but this could technically, I guess, if you're doing them like this, point A to point B. You're getting it from here to here, so you think that you're doing the curl when really that elbow needs to stay in place. It needs to stay in place the entire time. I like to keep mine just slightly in front of my hips, just right in front of that line of my hips, and then keeping it there as I extend my arm, and then all the way down. I'm not locking out my arm and resting at the bottom, but I am straightening out so I can lengthen this bicep muscle, and then taking my arm, keeping that elbow in that same spot, and curling this all the way up to where I shorten this muscle as much as possible, and then rocking through reps like that with good form, with weight that I can control. Like I said with the leg press, a lot of times this is guys who are going too heavy on curls. I get it, you wanna build bigger arms, but you're going to build bigger arms faster with good form and lighter weight than with bad form and heavy weight. So stop rocking through bicep curls like this and start focusing on proper form. Mistake number 5, and I kind of wanted to make this one number 1 because I think it's probably the silliest that I've seen. It's uneven bench pressing. And if you've never seen this, thank goodness, but I've seen this at my gym. I saw this at my last gym. I've seen plenty of videos on Instagram of guys trying to be quirky with the exercises that they're showing they're following because they want to show something new and unique. So don't do this. Just simply do not do this. It's when guys are loading up one side of the bench press, maybe putting a 45 on one side and a 25 on the other side, or even going heavy and putting 2 plates on one side and only 1 plate on the other side, and basically trying to rock out reps with just that one side. Stop doing this. This is asking for some kind of injury. This is asking for some kind of mess up where you're gonna look stupid, because the other thing is you don't have to do this. There's these things called dumbbells. You can go over to the bench, you can grab 2 dumbbells, and if you want, you can even do one arm at a time rather than holding this arm up, or you can even do that with dumbbells, but rather than having this bar that's keeping your arm in a fixed position so that this is a super awkward press, and instead you can have 2 dumbbells and you can go unilateral movement. You should not be doing a unilateral movement with a bar that keeps your hands in a fixed position. Unilateral movements are for either machines, where you have a double-armed machine, or with dumbbells where you can have this full range of motion and do one at a time without possibly messing up or hurting yourself or just looking silly. So stop doing uneven bench press. If you're wanting to do this unilateral movement, go on over to the dumbbells. But if you're wanting to do bench press and you're wanting to build upper body strength, just do a regular bench press. And if you're trying to build chest muscle, I highly recommend doing dumbbells anyways. So stop doing uneven bench press. That's number 5. And number 6, the final one, is gonna be related to the half reps that I talked about with leg press and biceps, but it's also a very common one that I see done with a very effective exercise that normally would be great: half rep military presses. And this is basically when you get a barbell, you're holding it up, maybe you get it off of a cage and you unrack it, and then you press it up and you start there, you get into a nice strong position, or start down here and get into a nice strong position, and then you see guys and you see them pressing it up and then bringing it back down to about here. And I literally saw it on the shoulder press machine today. This guy was doing basically these half reps where they're going about this far of range of motion, about maybe 8-10 inches full range of motion. Your full range of motion for this military press is going to be bringing it so that your elbows are dropping down below the line of your shoulder. You want to get a nice stretch. You want to get the full range of motion, something I've been talking about for forever with my channel, bringing this down to where your elbows are just past 90 degrees, your elbows are just past the line of your shoulder. Also keeping your shoulders in front of you. If you're doing it with dumbbells, don't flare it out. But bringing this down, I like to get it just to about the line of my mouth or just above my chin, and then go from there and pressing all the way up, squeezing, bringing it all the way back down, making sure I'm going throughout this full range of motion. That's not only going to help you build muscle faster, but it's also going to help with the health of your shoulder. If you're constantly just going through this little part right here, the chances of shoulder injury are much higher than if you're going throughout this full range of motion and basically working the soft tissue in your shoulders. So make sure you're not doing half reps with any exercise, but this is just a common one that I see done all the time and literally saw today. So I wanted to throw it in this video because I do see it a lot. So those are the 6 stupidest exercises, or 6 of these stupidest exercises that I've seen done at the gym. If you're currently doing these, I'm not calling you stupid. I'm just saying maybe you were taught wrong, or maybe you just don't know. It's time to fix them and start doing things in the gym that are smart and effective. If you like this video, make sure you're clicking the thumbs up button down below for me. I'd really appreciate it. Also, if there's a certain topic that you want me to cover in my next video, leave it in the comment section down below, and hopefully I can take care of that for you. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one.